This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday morning. This is Saturday Morning Mysteries, and we're your hosts. I'm Alexis.
I'm Grace.
And we're back for another episode arc. If you follow along with us, we like to switch it up, talk about different cartoons from our childhood and even from much longer before then, recount them in true, aka fictional crime comedy fashion. And our new show is chock full of it. It's full of action.
Oh, yes.
It's full of adventure. It's full of mystery and all the crime you could ask for. And it was an iconic part of both me and Grace's childhood. What show is this, you may ask, for those who don't read titles and episode descriptions before watching or listening to the things there.
Unhinged, but we're glad you're here.
Unhinged, exactly. You're our perfect demo. We too are unhinged.
For this intro. Yeah, true.
Yes.
Welcome to the family.
Welcome. What show are we doing for the next 8 weeks, you may ask? Totally Spies.
Pew, pew, pew.
Like accidentally punch his laptop over.
We do almost
awesome.
knock down our setups very often. So yeah, wouldn't
Practically
be surprised.
every day.
There will be casualties probably in our retelling of this new show, which we are so excited about.
100% will be.
We should start off with our classic question before we launch into like describing the show and that kind of stuff. The show came out when we were like, what, 8 to 10-ish range?
Yeah, I want to say I actually don't remember the exact years. I did not in
all
of the reading I did on the show. 99. It seems
or
like
2000.
It was,
no, I think it was 2000.
Okay, it still seems like that's interesting. I wonder, and maybe you'll get it. Well, maybe not. I don't know, but I wonder if it came to the United States later, or maybe I just came about it later. Because for me, I remember watching it more in like middle school, junior high type years. So like 6th and like 7th grade. But that was definitely way later than 2000. So now I'm like, maybe it came here late because I know it's technically a foreign show. But we'll talk about that later. But
I think it started airing in the US only in like 2001, like either 2000 or 2001. Okay. But it was on the air for multiple seasons. So maybe that's when it came on your radar.
That's why. Yeah. And I like either picked it up later and like instantly loved it. Yeah, or just, like, maybe reruns. I just forgot that I watched it when I was way younger and just it was more in line with my thought process as a middle schooler than it was as like a 5 or not 5, but like an 8-year-old. It's a pretty mature show, as we'll get into as a 5-year-old.
It is. So you watched it in junior high. Tell me your relationship with the show, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was so fun because I remember watching like Bond movies and like Charlie's Angels with my brothers when that the one that came out with like Drew Barrymore and all that when we were younger. And so I always really liked the spy and like mystery type of thriller shows and like movies. And so then to see nice, like pretty posh teenage girls doing that kind of stuff, I think it always reminded me is like, these are the Powerpuff Girls now that they're teenagers, but they also don't have superpowers except they just have super gadgets. So I remember I had 2 friends in junior high in particular, like the 3 of us would always talk about this show and we would be like, oh, you're this character, you're that character, you're that character. And just, just loved it.
Amazing.
What about you?
I was obsessed with this show. In a similar vein of, like was also obsessed with Powerpuff Girls, that like this felt like when I got slightly older, as if I still obviously was watching Powerpuff Girls, but like, it was like, oh, okay, like now this is my next show. So I remember like probably like 10-ish. I think I started watching it like pretty straight off the bat. And I just distinctly remember with this show that my next door neighbor growing up, Haley, and then Katie Albers, obviously. Nice. It was like the 3 of us, because Katie obviously lived down the street from Haley and I, and we would all like get together and pretend we were them in our like, like make-believe running around the neighborhood. And Katie would always be Sam because she was redhead.
Nice.
Haley would always be Clover because she was blonde. I was always Alex because I wasn't distinctly those two.
You were those two things.
That is how it was distinguished.
Hilariously, I was also Alex
Yeah,
in my friend
wow.
crew. Of course, no
Look at
surprise.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now watching it as I'm older, I'm like, oh yeah. And I kind of remember like when I was younger being like, but she's not like the girly girl or the super smart one. But turns out Alex is great. So now as I'm
She's
older,
awesome.
I'm like, oh yeah, that was badass. Cool.
She's like the athletic one, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. And we'll get into if you haven't watched the show, everyone I just named, you'll shortly learn about them. But yes, loved the show. We would run around the neighborhood pretending to be spies, solving mysteries and crimes, et cetera, et cetera. So let's get into what this show is before we get into our first episode. So yes, Totally Spies was an animated show that was on Cartoon Network, and in its own genre that I didn't know exist, spy-fi, which I love.
Yeah, I love that.
So yes, so it follows 3 teenage girls who live in Beverly Hills, California, through their usual teenage trials and tribulations, like crushes and homework and shopping. But these 3 girls are also undercover agents for the World Organization of Human Protection, aka WOOHP, which is how we will just refer to it in general. But no, WOOHP
there
is.
It is.
Is that why they named it that? It was just after the 90s.
I don't know if that's like why they did it, but that just came to my mind. Anyway.
Or it's like whooping ass.
That too. That's probably that's more appropriate for what they do.
Yeah, but either one. And I didn't realize, well, one, I guess I realized upon watching it now as an adult that, yeah, the animation of the show is very loosely connected to anime style, in how like the facial expressions and just the like movement and like action scenes and that type of stuff are very a la anime. And I didn't know this, you just mentioned it, that this was originally not a US show. I got like a little confused by the like who did what first, but it was, I think, originally a French show.
Yeah.
That like got purchased to like, I don't know, to a French Canadian company and then dropped down to the US. Yeah. Type of thing. I got confused by
globalization.
Yeah, exactly.
It even hits the animated world.
Yep, exactly. We're all one here. But yes, it was cool. It's cool that it is apparently has a huge following, especially in France, probably because I think that's where it started. Again, then came over, which is kind of funny. I think I got confused because I was like, why would a French show have girls living in Beverly Hills, California?
Yeah. I think they're almost too like kind of satirizing it. It's like how French people perceive life in Beverly Hills, which is also very funny, but not wrong.
They're not wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Not totally wrong. Some parts I'm like, okay, come on. That's totally just your like perspective of what American teenagers in California are like. And then other times I'm like, this is what American teenagers in California are like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B here. And one of the reasons beyond the fact that we love this show so much that we picked this show is because in 2024, there's a new season that's going to be dropping on Cartoon Network. So
can't believe it.
Yes, love it. We are very excited. This can be your prep for that new season. Also, all of Totally Spies is available to watch for free right now on the Totally Spies YouTube page. So
yes,
just a heads up to everyone here.
So after you hit subscribe on our page, if you're into Totally Spies, subscribe to them too and recap on all of it. The movie is also, there is a movie, by the way, Totally Spies movie, and that is also on YouTube.
Yep. And so very interestingly, one of the show's creators described some of the inspiration for the show in a I think it's an interview with like worldscreen.com. And so I'm just going to read directly because it talks about the inspiration for the show, which funny enough is something you've already mentioned. So this is a direct quote from Wikipedia quoting another article. Inception quote happening here. So Michelle explained that prior to the series, there were a lot of boy action adventure shows and practically nothing for girls. Yet in pop culture, there was Britney Spears and Spice Girls. He explained that the characters were heavily inspired by the movie Clueless. So we've got that Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And wanted to mix that with a James Bond format. When they first pitched the show, it had a moderate response. But when the first season was broadcast, the Charlie's Angels film came out, and suddenly the market was full of girls show properties.
Yeah.
And that named everything I loved at that age. Britney Spears, Spice Girls, Charlie's Angels, which I think was the first PG-13 movie I ever saw before I was 13. And
nice.
Totally Spies. So like
all in one. It doesn't get better.
Perfect.
It's like it's a Western teen's dream.
Exactly. So first, okay, we're going to go through our characters now as usual, so folks listening can get a pick of who we're talking about. So the three main teens, we have Sam. She's kind of like the mom of the group. She tends to remain super calm, level-headed, mission-oriented. She's also for sure like the brains of the group. Like they all are smart, but she is like kind of the nerdy one. But she's like, she knows the tech really well. She knows how to put the clues together. She's very sometimes like Sherlock Holmesy in the way that she deduces one thing's connected to another. And she is distinguished by very, very long, thick red hair. And when they are in the spy mode, all of the girls wear like cat suits, and hers is a green cat suit. So red hair, green cat suit.
Compliments well.
Yep. So then we have Clover, who's the more impulsive one, whether that be action and fighting or crushing on boys, which is like a personality trait of hers. She's oftentimes painted and oftentimes is like the ditzy blonde who's boy obsessed. She's also fashion obsessed, which they all kind of are, but she extra is. However, all of that aside, she's pretty always ready to like kick ass. Like she's ready to fight and like kick down some doors. So it's a kind of a nice mixture of like badass violent and also like, oh my God, which is how Clover talks all the time.
Oh my God, I just killed that guy.
And she is distinguished by her short blonde bob cut, and she has a red cat suit in spy mode. To match when she spills blood everywhere. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God. You can't even tell. I just killed that guy. It blends in with my suit.
Have to get the bleach out. It's fine. And last but not least, we have Alex. Alex is kind of like the heart of the trio. She wears her heart on her sleeves often with compassion and love. But like we've kind of already previously mentioned, she's definitely more of a tomboy than the other girls. Because of these two things, she's sometimes painted as like naive or innocent. But yeah, she's wears her heart on her sleeve. She's definitely a tomboy. I think she loves like playing soccer and all of that. And I do want to flag really interestingly, because I was like, I need to get to the bottom of this because I've just always been curious. So Sam and Clover are both white, and Alex is kind of like racially ambiguous, which is cool. She has got brown skin, and when I was a kid, I thought she was Asian. I guess maybe Southeast Asian, but when I was a kid, I probably didn't know what like Southeast Asia was. Because I was 10.
Like Grace points to it on the map. Like, yes, she is probably from Thailand.
In Thailand, maybe here in Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh, maybe. But I was researching this because I was like, I bet the internet has an answer. And so the internet is also kind of hasn't figured it out fully either. But they either think that she is South Asian or that she's Latina.
That was my guess, Latina.
Which, as soon as like it said that, I was like, oh, yes, this makes sense. I'm pretty sure like I saw somewhere that her last name was like Vasquez or something on one of the sites, and I was like,
well, could be Filipino perhaps, but probably,
true, potentially. But I thought it was always cool as well that like in this show, it wasn't just 3 white girls of Beverly Hills, that like Alex was possibly Latina, possibly South Asian, maybe mixed.
Mm-hmm.
And she has very short black hair with like some little short bangs, and she wears a yellow catch suit on her missions. And then outside of the three girls, there is also Jerry Lewis, who is their boss in the spy world. Jerry is the founder of WOOHP. He founded it in the 70s. He used to be a master spy. Very loosely, I'll mention that like how the girls became spies is that like they have some spy gene that makes them primed for this. And kind of creepily, but like whatever, we live in a surveillance state. He was monitoring them since they were
even
kids.
in the 90s and the 80s
to see if they would become spies one day or like primed to become spies. And Jerry is, so that's how he found them. He is a middle-aged, balding British man. He assigns missions. Again, sometimes helps with missions. He is a master spy. He is pretty much always wearing a suit. He loves his gadgets. He loves like James Bondy type gadgets. And WOOHP uses tech and trains master spies to fight crime across the world. There are other agents in WOOHP, but we just follow the adventures of Sam, Alex, and Clover.
Yeah.
And there are other recurring characters kind of in the show, like Mandy, who's like another high school student, slashes the girls like high school nemesis. But I think we'll just get to those characters as they come up because this is already a long episode and will continue to be because I haven't even started talking about the episode yet.
Yeah.
But as a final thing before we start, let's, as we always do, talk about the theme song of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Which again is a banger. This is like a pop hype song of the late 90s with a little sprinkle of like 60s, 70s like pop in it. And it's great. It's fun. It's poppy.
Catchy.
It like
exactly.
Yeah, it's catchy.
Gets you excited
it like
for the show.
Yeah, gets you like revved up for a mission type of thing.
Has awesome like stills and stuff of the spies in action and like them posing
here
and everything.
Here we go. Fight pose.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. It's exactly what like I would have put on it would have been on a CD by some girls group basically in the 90s that we would have all listened to.
Yes.
So now that we have all of that, let's start my actual episode, which is the first
all those
episode.
Details out of the way.
Yes, all those minor details out of the way. So this is the first episode of the first season, as per usual. And we start the episode off. They always start with like a cold open, essentially, of like a hint at like what the crime that's happening is, or the villain, or something like that. So we start this episode in Tokyo at a CD store, which used to be a thing. Yes. It was 2001. So we see two employees stocking the shelves and they're complaining. They're like, what's the big deal about Ricky Mathis, as they like are holding up a CD, like a single that just came out. Like, we haven't even heard of him, but like everyone's losing their fucking minds about this dude. Like, who is this bro? And they're just like stocking the shelves before the store opens. Like, who is this like new boy band-esque pop star? And it's confirmed that indeed people are going nuts about this Ricky Mathis character, because as soon as the store opens, like we see the clock change to like 10 a.m., the store gets absolutely swarmed, like Black Friday style, with a mob of people screaming Ricky's name, like mowing down these two employees to get the CD. Some people literally foaming at the mouth.
Oh my God.
For this CD. Folks, this is what used to have to happen. If you wanted to get the music, you had to fight for it. It wasn't just on your phone, in your pocket.
Exactly.
Come on.
You had to go and trampede, stampede some people.
Yeah.
Stab someone. While foaming at the mouth.
What?
Give me the CD. Grace, would you like to admit to something?
I needed that Spice Girls album.
Or I guess in this case, the parallel would be like Ricky Martin. I needed that Ricky Martin album. I did
think at first I was like, is it supposed to be Ricky Martin? But when we actually meet Ricky Mathis, he is no Ricky Martin.
Okay.
So
no one else is Ricky Martin but Ricky Martin.
How dare we? So meanwhile, while those CD employees their lives are being ruined and probably carted off to a hospital. Back
mortally
in good
wounded.
Mortally wounded. But back in good old Beverly Hills High School, we have our trio strolling the halls, which I need to pause right here really quick to point out that this show also has some of the best day-to-day outfits. Like most shows, like they always just wear the same clothes. These three, every episode, essentially, they have different, like their day clothes. They're not spy clothes, are pretty much always different, always changing, are so cute. Some of them, buck fucking wild. It was 2001, in which the fashion was horrible.
It was crazy. It was
cute.
Yeah, it's like a hangover from the 90s, essentially, the early 2000s. But yeah, and creative. Good on the animation team for like taking the time to like actually say, what would Alex be wearing in this situation?
Exactly. And like,
let's pattern match here.
Exactly. You know what? I loved it. And I love it now still as an adult. Some of the fits, funny enough, I usually am drawn toward Alex's. I'm like, oh, that's cute. What a cute backpack, Alex. Okay. So anyways, they're strolling the hall when they suddenly hear a few strums of a guitar out in the high school courtyard. And there's a new student sitting there. This is a total surfer bro. He's blonde. He's playing the guitar. I would imagine Wonderwall, most likely, if I think it'd come out by then. Yeah. And Clover is shooketh, which is her pattern. She sees a boy. She loves a boy. So she runs out to introduce herself, ask him out. But her nemesis, Mandy, who really only appears in this 8 seconds, has already asked him out. So she pulls him away. Clover is very upset by this and runs off to a school bench. She's like, oh my God, no problem, Mandy. I was just saying hi to him, and then runs off and cries, where I know it's very sad. But Sam and Alex, ever the besties, are there comforting her, and they're sitting on the bench when suddenly the bench straight up gives way underneath them and they fall into a deep, dark pit, which... dear listeners, is how they always enter WOOHP headquarters, is some very scary, sudden, unexpected, essentially kidnapping situation.
Yeah, like a pit and or like portal that just swoops them up from nowhere.
Everything.
Their TV, the park bench.
Yep.
I don't know, the telephone, anything,
trash can,
anything,
anything is danger.
WOOHP is everywhere. Surveillance state, like on steroids.
Exactly. Yep. It's their specialty. Yes. So yes, they basically go down this dark metal tunnel slide thing, and they poop right out into one of the many underground bunkers of the WOOHP offices.
I'm a 30-year-old woman laughing just at the word poop.
So I put it in there.
I knew. Damn it.
Because I giggled when I wrote it too. So down in the bunker, Jerry is there and he greets the girls. He's always chuckling when he, pulls them out, because he has some fun pulling them out of their everyday lives into WOOHP HQ. It's kind of a power move, but also he's always like, that was a good one. So, and then as usual, he always launches right into what the mission is. There's no time for small talk. And so there's a digital dossier essentially that comes up. There's a large screen behind Jerry, and he pulls up a profile of Ricky Mathis, who's this all-American looking boy with some early 2000s spiky brown hair. And Jerry explains that Ricky is an overnight musical sensation. Side note, let's keep in mind, this is before Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. This viral wasn't a thing yet. So this was an oddity back in the day to have an overnight musical sensation who's only had one single come out. And that's it. That's all this guy's got. But people
had to be on every single radio station and MTV's TRL, BET 106 in Park, everywhere. It was everywhere.
Yes. It was everywhere. Just as VH1 was starting to run because MTV walked for it, it was on there too. So people, Jerry explains, are going crazy for him. like we saw in the first scene, these aren't just fans, they're fanatical about this Ricky Mathis guy.
Oh man.
And WOOHP is suspicious because of the aggression level of these fans. The foaming at the mouth caught on surveillance cameras.
A little bit of concern.
A little dicey. If it had just been one person, you know what? Maybe they had rabies. It was a crowd.
She got bit by a bat.
They looked into it. That person met a vampire bat. It was a whole thing. They got bit by it in a cave somewhere.
Yeah. Random coincidence. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just bad place, bad time for that person. Or actually, great place, great time because everyone else was foaming at the mouth. So they were like, this is my crew. So guys,
I'm at home.
We're all dying slowly, right? Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Let's get this music.
Let's do it. So it is the girls' mission to go undercover as the opening band for Ricky's world tour, just to figure out like what the heck is going on. Which, like, a world tour with one single is a very short concert. Is all I could think about this whole episode. Like, this guy has one song.
He just like does like a 30-minute encore of that one song. Just keeps playing it over and over. I mean, if it's that big of a hit, maybe, but maybe the teenage girls will love it.
Kanye and Jay-Z, when Jill and I college room and I went to go see them on their Watch the Throne tour, they played their encore song 7 times in a row.
Nice.
Because they would stop right before it would drop and get real intense and then restart from the beginning. Over. Like, that's
what Ricky Mathis is doing. He actually taught them. Yeah, and Jay-Z were watching this episode like, oh shit, that was hard, man. We gotta do that.
People are from at the mouth.
You know how much money this?
Yeah. So, yes, cut to they are in the Spies private jet, which they get around the world in. It's like pretty fucking cool. There's a lot of in this show, I think, from like the James Bond influence and Charlie's Angels, which both like, I guess James Bond was before the 60s, but very heavily like Charlie's Angels was a show in the 60s, all of that. So there's a lot of 60s, 70s influence in like the decorations. So like the jet is covered in like the 60s flowers type of thing. It's like, if you ever watched this, like the sketch show Laugh-In, it's very much like that vibe. And the inside of it is fully decked out in like 60s, 70s, like mod type of decoration, which is fucking cool. But inside the plane, the girls are making fun of Jerry because he named the band that they're going undercover as, and he named it the Spies. And they're like, Jerry, what the fuck? You're so dumb. Jerry, come on, man.
He's a little out of touch.
Yeah, he's very out of touch, and he just takes their abuse. And then they notice all the instruments on the plane and they're like, oh, hell yeah, let's like start jamming. And Jerry's like, oh God, they're going to start playing the instruments. This is going to be bad.
I did not train them on those.
Yeah, exactly. Alex hops on the drums. Clover and Sam are on the guitar and they start absolutely fucking shredding. Like, like all of a sudden,
the spy gene.
It's the spy gene. They can do anything. Jerry's glasses like shatter and he unplugs all the amps because he's like, okay, let's calm down, girls.
That's enough.
Yeah, but it was great because I was like, oh, they can fucking rock. Cool.
Good.
What can't they do? And in a, again, very classic moment in good spy content, Jerry goes through the tech he created for this mission.
Yes.
So we've got a cute star belt. It's got a little star on it that actually holds a bungee cord that can like shoot out and then pull them anywhere, all like Spider-Man web. They've got a wind tunnel hair dryer gun. Looks like a hair dryer, shoots out tornado level wind tunnel.
Awesome.
They've got a regularly occurring suction go-go boots that can walk on the ceilings and walls. They've got a little like ear mic that helps them like hear through walls. It's like super sensitive hearing device. And then basically like a scuba suit, like a packable scuba suit, just in case.
Okay.
They need to go underwater.
They're underwater.
There you go. So the girls get suited up and Jerry goes, you know, now that you're in showbiz, break a leg. bye. And then he hits a button. The plane floor just drops from underneath them, which also Jerry loves to send them on their missions by literally just being like, okay, good luck. And like,
surprise.
It keeps them on, it gets the adrenaline pumping to start the mission. It keeps them on their toes, keeping up good skills like skydiving, because they are now actively skydiving to the drop site, which lands them in London, which is where the world tour is starting. Okay. So they go into their hotel, which is also very cool. It's got lava lamps in it too. But as they are walking in, they already see, like, again, rabid fans waiting for Ricky outside of his hotel room. Like, as their like car pulls up, they like, the fans like slam on the windows thinking it's Ricky. And when they realize it's not, they like turn away, and the girls are like, ooh, that was kind of scary. Like, they're a little obsessed. So they settle
rabid.
a little rabid, which should be a great band name.
Ooh, nice. We call rabid. We have dibs. You all heard it.
You heard it here first, folks. Lil Rabid. Or a good rapper named Lil Rabid if you like rap really fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So fast that he's foaming from the mouth.
Tagline, yeah. Perfect. You heard it here first. Don't take it, anyone.
We'll sue.
Oh yeah. We know how. So anyways, so in their hotel room, they get a knock at the door, and in walks Phil Jenkins. He's this man, and he's a pretty large man. He's got like a purple suit on. He's like a suit vest and then a lighter purple kind of like puffy shirt. He's got tinted glasses. While he's balding on top, he's got greasy long hair off the back. And before, saying who, like, fully introducing himself, I was like, oh, this guy's definitely a producer. Was like my first. I was like,
he's like their manager or agent or something.
Look at the skis ball. Like, for sure, he's in the biz.
Yeah.
And indeed, he is both Ricky's tour manager and producer. So yes, you are correct. And as such, he's all business. He meets the girls. Kind of weird and creepy, like kisses Clover's hand. We hate it. It's icky. And he's like, all right, well, Ricky wants to meet you girls. So like, come on, let's get going, and like shuffles them out to Ricky's suite so they can get to know each other before the concert. So we finally meet Ricky, where Ricky, Ricky, you're so fun.
Ricky, you're so fun.
Ricky. Ricky.
Nice.
For those like not watching the YouTube, Bird and I like kind of distinctly had like a 0.2 second look at each other before we launched.
We're like, wait a minute. It's like you could like see the wheel, like the brain waves like going from coast to coast.
Exactly.
Nice.
Into the song that's now stuck in everyone's head. You're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome.
So Ricky is chilling in the suite, just playing guitar. And why I said earlier, like, he is absolutely not Ricky Martin. I literally wrote the line, I could really only describe him as the most milquetoast dude ever. He's just like some white dude with like big eyes, the short, spiky hair, jeans. He's got like a baseball tee on, playing guitar. The girls come in and he's like, oh, hey girls, what's up? Just like strum out a few chords, like the most boring, nothing going on there.
He's
situation.
Like, name your brunette white guy in America, right. And that's it. Not even
and this like is him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
He's
cool.
nothing crazy standing out right now about this Ricky Mathis guy. Again, no Latin sensation Ricky Martin happening here. No. Ricky Mathis.
That's an icon we're talking about.
Exactly. No leather pants happening here with Ricky Mathis in his jeans and baseball team. So, yes, he says hi to the girls. He does seem excited to meet them. I think he's maybe just excited to like meet someone normal who's not like freaking out over him. And so as such, he invites them to the recording studio the next morning before their next show. They'll be traveling to another country, but he's going to try and record a new song that morning. Phil is pissed because he's like, it's a closed set. Like no one's allowed to come to your recordings. But Ricky insists, and Phil is like, okay, fine, because they have to now go off to the show, so there's no time to argue. He's like, yeah, okay, fine, you girls can come, whatever. And on their way out of the suite, Clover knocks over some CDs of Ricky's single that he was signing in there or something. And to their confusion and alarm, the CD that tumbles out is glowing and is like bright green. So they obviously pocket a couple of these, are like, well, we're trying to get to the show. This looks kind of weird. So we'll just pocket and check it out later. So the girls are up first. They're the openers, obviously, for the show. And Alex and Sam are trying to find Clover, who's sitting in the backstage, listening to Ricky's CD. They rip her headphones out, being like, Clover, we got to go on stage. And Clover's like, I don't get what's so special about this music. Like, it's a good song. Actually, it's like pretty catchy. It's kind of infectious, I would say. Like, pretty good tune, but like, okay. And she tosses the CD and goes right on stage. Yes, indeed. Clover.
Infectious, you say.
Yeah. You say. So they hop on stage in what I must take a moment to describe as truly wild outfits. Like
wilder than usual.
Like Elton John situation happening. So like wild in the best way possible.
Okay.
Clover is like disco cowgirl. Alex, I have no idea what's happening, but she has this enormous like fuzzy green mushroom hat on. It's like this giant like puffy hat. I don't even remember what Sam was wearing because I was so distracted by these other two.
Jerry definitely picked the outfits. Either he's like thinking back to the days of like the 70s concerts that he would go to,
I think so.
Or because he's just trying to fuck with these girls. Like, that's what you get for making fun of me for this, for the band name. And then you wear the most ridiculous costumes ever.
Outrageous outfits.
Yeah.
And so they all start playing as the crowd cheers, and Clover's like, wow, we sound pretty good. And Sam's like, yeah, duh, this is pre-recorded music. Like, we're lip syncing. She points to the ground.
Yeah.
She's like, our guitars aren't even plugged in, and there's just wires hanging out. Seems like, duh, we sound good. This is not us, Clover.
Nice.
Which is just funny that like they didn't even bother to plug in the guitars.
No.
So they finish their set. It went just fine. Everyone is chanting Ricky's name now. Ricky comes up and he's like, whoa, you girls were like really good. Like, man, especially at like the lip syncing, like that shit's really hard. Like, I still am not great at it. And the girls, maybe because this was before all of the like early 2000 lip syncing like scandals that happened, are shocked that he doesn't sing live. They're like, what? You use pre-recording too? Artists don't do that.
I thought we only did that.
Right. I thought only fakers like us did that. And Ricky's like, yeah, it's like kind of a bummer, but like Phil says everyone in the biz does it, so I have to do it too. But like, okay, I guess that's just showbiz. I don't know. But like, all right, good job. Which then he runs out on stage in the same jeans and baseball tee from before. No, Ricky Martin. No. This is an offensive outfit for a concert. For a pop concert, that's all he's going to wear?
Please. Anyways, he didn't even try.
The audacity, essentially. So he jumps on stage to start singing, and we see one of the tech guys, working all the sound systems, in a dark black suit and sunglasses, as I guess you do backstage, put one of the glowing CDs in the system to play for Ricky. And Clover decides to stay and watch from backstage. She doesn't want to miss the performance. But Sam and Alex spot Phil up kind of like in the boxes of this arena and decide to go check in on him. And as they approach the box, the halls leading to it are filled with more men in dark suits with like earpieces. But because Alex and Sam have a little bit like band, we're with the band, we are the band passes. They're allowed to pass back to the box where, just outside the door, they overhear Phil on the phone saying that, yeah, everything's prepared for the recording session tomorrow, but we're going to need more security. Ricky invited the freaking opening band, these annoying girls, to come with him. And at this, Alex and Sam pop right in to the room. And he hangs up that phone real quick. Kind of in a panic.
Didn't hear nothing.
Got caught shit talking. Everybody's worst fear coming true.
Literally.
And so he slams the door shut behind them and asks, like, what's wrong? Is everything okay down there? And they're like, they shrug. They're like, yeah, that's fine. We just wanted to come watch from up here. But Alex and Clover like start laughing because they realize they're yelling to like respond to him, because it's like, you know, that feeling where you leave a concert. It was so loud down there and it's so quiet in here. And they're like, whoa, like you're still at a concert hall. It's just the box seats. And he's like, yeah, like he's like, I don't really like actually listening to these shows. So like I get soundproof booths entirely. Like I'll watch the show, make sure nothing like happens, like nothing wrong happens, but like
I don't want like a light to fall on Ricky,
right? But like kill my client,
but
my
I
artist.
Need my hearing.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I need my hearing. I'm literally a producer, and like I know the songs. I don't need to see hear what's happening down there. So I guess they just like hang out in the suite up there, or it was really short because he only has one song. Because then they're back in the hotel.
Like the Spies act was actually longer than Ricky.
I think it was.
For Jerry at least wrote them like 3 songs, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. At least 15 minutes of show, unlike Ricky's 3. So back at the hotel after the concert, the girls are kind of like running through like the situation so far. They're like, all right, Ricky's fans are nutso. He doesn't sing. Again, they're really caught up on this scandal if people don't sing live. The CDs glow. The manager doesn't like to listen to the music. He's got a soundproof booth. None of this is like illegal, Jerry. Like it's just kind of weird. But like whatever, showbiz, it's weird, baby.
It's not our lane.
Yeah, exactly. So as they run through this, Clover is like shushing them and is like, you guys didn't even watch the concert. Like Ricky is amazing and so dreamy and so perfect. And she like is kind of sick of hearing them being like, what's the big deal about Ricky? So she puts her headphones back in to listen to his song again. And Alex and Sam like roll their eyes because they're just like, she's so obsessed with boys all the time, which is true. And so Jerry calls them via video chat to check in. And Sam and Alex again run through that situation, like what the situation is. And they're like, we just need more info to see if there is anything like weird going on. Like, I guess like let's look into the company. Like, how did they find Ricky? Like, how did Phil find out who he was? That type of stuff. Like
you think that Jerry would have done that recon or whatever before they started the mission, but he was just like, go play with them and see if you notice anything. So,
case of rabies, get on it, girls. Can't have this spreading.
Are you a vet? A veterinarian?
This is his only way to like solve this is by, he's like, I don't want to get bit. You can solve it. Ugh, rabies, nasty. I don't want to get those shots. Those are hurt.
Yeah.
So they're like, who's Ricky's label? And so Jerry pulls up a profile because again, surveillance state, they have profiles on fucking everyone at all times. And so the record label owner, they don't say the record label's name, but the guy who owns it, who obviously works with Phil, is a person named Sebastian. And Sebastian is a retired musician who back in his day used to be a very successful rock star and guitarist. We see a photo of like a young Sebastian. He was definitely like I don't know, punk or metal rock star. He's got like super, super long dark hair. He's got like the dark tank top cut off situation, leather boots on, his like head banging as he like kind of shreds. And the screen changes as Jerry continues to read from the profile, click through whatever surveillance they've got on him. Yeah. And we see Sebastian again, like rocking out on stage. The stage has flames on it because, again, he's a hardcore rock star. And Jerry just explains over it like, well, I see here Sebastian was successful. Well, successful until he lost his arm in a freak pyrotechnics accident on stage.
Whoa.
And then we watch footage of Sebastian leaping into the flames, and then it cuts to the audience where you just see like flashes of like fire, and their faces go from like cheering to screaming as like God. Smoke rolls out onto the crowd.
Holy shit. And an arm, I guess like a disintegrated arm, just floats out into the ether.
Ashes, rock star fall onto them. Which
metal.
Exactly. Of just like you said, oh, this show has mature content in it. This first episode, we essentially see the reactions of someone watching someone have their arm disintegrated, and probably be covered in 3rd-degree burns everywhere in his fucking body.
I guess I'm glad they didn't actually show the arm being burnt, though. That's what I thought you were going to say. It's like, okay, they didn't make it R-rated. They just made it PG-13. Nice.
Exactly. Yep. That was the original cut, and they cut it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's the red
France was cool with it.
Yeah,
the French were fine with it, but Americans were like, "This is a little too brutal."
Exactly. So, Jerry, who's seen a lot, just shrugs and is like, "Well, now since he can't be a guitarist anymore, he opened up a record label and is just like an eccentric, like recluse producer who lives on a private island off the coast of." And here's a funny thing that the show does is that they take like real countries' names and just like add an extra syllable. So like they say he has a private island off the coast of Brasilia, aka Brazil, but it's Brasilia. aka Brazil. He lives in Brazil now.
Maybe Jerry just has a weird accent, or he was like yawning when he said it. Brazil.
All right, well,
excuse me.
Keep it going, Spies. He's British.
On to your next mission.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I just misunderstood him. And so Alex and Sam cut off the call quickly as Ricky strolls into the room. Of course, Clover runs over to him into his arms and starts spawning over him. All right. Obsessed, and Ricky is just like, hey girl, well, like our plane's ready to go, like off to our next place, aka the next show, which is we're just gonna say Brazil. It's in Brazil.
Okay. Not Brasilia.
Yep, not Brasilia. It's Brazil because it's too annoying to say the other way. And off to the recording studio, which is on Sebastian's private island.
Ooh, okay,
so
Kanye.
They're getting straight. Kanye took notes from this episode.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Private island.
Private island for recording.
Yeah.
Done.
Check. So on the island, again, they're going straight to the top here. That's how big of a deal Ricky is for this record label already. So they arrive on the island to find a few things. So one, the studio is basically on top of a volcano that makes up this island, which is kind of cool.
Sounds great for recording.
Yeah,
getting all that
really
noise.
Good. Exactly, I was gonna say really good background bubbling that happens. It's really good for a Halloween CD.
Yeah, it adds
bubbling like
to the music.
Yeah. Then there's also a big old ship, like almost like a cruise-sized ship, with this massive satellite like loaded onto it that's getting transported to the mainland, which they ask about it, obviously. Like, what the fuck is that? And it's to like broadcast the concert that night because they want to like try and broadcast it worldwide because Ricky's such a big deal. And so I guess they just need a giant satellite for it. Yeah. There's also like Jeeps and Hummers everywhere, with security guards that are almost in like, I can only describe as like, have you seen the movie Life Aquatic? The Wes Anderson movie?
Wes Anderson? No, I haven't. Right. But I've seen like images from it. So
yeah, that images, but the only way I can also describe it is like Alaskan fishermen.
Okay.
Is the
on this volcanic island.
Yeah, in this like tropical country, but whatever. There are a bunch of security guards everywhere. And so they head right into the studio where Clover is now decked out in Ricky merch, like hat, t-shirt, everything. And she is like glued to the glass window where Ricky is obviously on the other side playing guitar for his next track. So he's going to have 2 songs at the concert now, baby.
Ooh, thank God. People are finally going to get their money's worth.
How crazy people are. These tickets are probably hundreds of dollars for one song, which is wild. But now 2. So the tickets will be more expensive.
$200 now.
Exactly. So when he finishes, Phil walks in to that part of the studio to like talk about the lyrics, and he shuts the door behind them. But Sam turns on he had like trying to turn off some of the equipment. So Sam turns on the hearing device so that she can eavesdrop on what they're talking about in there and overhear them. So Phil hands Ricky the lyrics, and Ricky starts speaking them aloud. A growing confusion in his voice as he recites them, and like a lot of upper inflection of confusion about these lyrics. And so the lyrics say, I'm Ricky and I'm your master. Follow me as I spread disaster. Take over the government. Do as I say. I'll rule the world and you'll obey.
Who wrote this? Some anarcho, like, and capitalist or something.
Ricky, anti-capitalist, and Ricky, again, the like all-American, just dumb American boy is like, what about the song that I wrote? I hope my next song won't be so aggressive.
Oh, the next song.
Yeah, he's just real sad about it. He's like,
that one came from the heart. It was
yeah, I wrote
like
about
strumming his guitar, like.
Anyways, your body is a wonderland.
Yeah. Anyways, this is Take Over the Government.
Anyways, this is
strumming.
I say.
Yeah.
So Phil, ever the smooth producer, is like, Ricky, trust me. This is all showbiz, baby. The kids
Ricky,
these days. Oh yeah, that's exactly Ricky, baby. The kids these days, they want edgy. This is giving them what they want. Don't you want to please your fans, Ricky? And Ricky's like, I guess so.
Oh,
yeah. Poor sweet milk toast Ricky.
Ricky.
So he's gonna have to change his outfit if he wants to be edgy.
Yeah, right. So
yep.
Put on some like military fatigues.
Yeah, something. Damn.
The Q is happening apparently under his music.
Exactly. Lil Q. Another great.
Dibs, we got it. That's ours. You heard it here.
Lil Rabbit and Lil Q. Amazing, honestly.
It's a group.
So Sam obviously overhears this, tells Alex and Clover, but Clover is not fucking listening. She's like, I am staying back and watching my new boyfriend record. She thinks he's her new boyfriend. Okay. And so Alex and Sam were like, all right, we don't have time to figure out what's going on. Like, yeah, Clover, you stay behind. You're going to be a liability. We're going to go look more into who the fuck wrote these lyrics. This is scary. Mm-hmm. So Alex and Sam switch into their spy cat suits and start creeping around. It's like this whole, I don't know, producer, studio, record company or whatever, which turns out to be a straight up bunker. Metal tunnels everywhere, going deeper and deeper into the volcano.
Weird.
Until, they find some like this like giant like sound system / lab at the heart of it. But just as they enter at the heart of like the studio, the building in the volcano, but just as they enter, another door on the other side opens. So they like immediately dash underneath some like tables that are in there. And from the door, Phil walks out, followed by a scientist, which we know because he's wearing a lab coat, which means he's a scientist.
Nice.
Obviously.
Got it. I was wondering. It's like, how do we know this?
That's how. He has no name. He has one line, but he has a lab coat. He's a scientist.
So he's a scientist.
Cool. So the scientist explains that the frequency has been added and adjusted to Ricky's new single. It's all ready to be tested. And shortly behind them, a guard comes in, and behind the guard, there's a brief guitar lick, followed by a very tall, thin man in all white, like linen-esque suit with like only like a deep V, only one button buttoned, with like almost like a shark tooth necklace hanging across it. He's got long, straight silver hair that's only covering half of his face. And
he sounds like an anime villain.
A metal arm. He literally, he is an anime villain.
Yeah.
Like he 1,000. I was like, this is, now that I knew the
this
anime
is the
style,
bad guy.
And I was like, anime, yes, bad guy, yes. Yes. And
Bond
we see
villain / anime.
Yeah,
you
like
said a metal arm too.
Silver hair, and then a metal arm.
Dope,
and
but
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, very honestly, he's pretty fucking cool. And like I have to say, I like wrote this later in, but I have to say it now. Every time he enters a room, there's a like very brief guitar lick. And then he's there. And like that's how you know Sebastian has arrived. And it's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
he has like an assistant that just follows him with the speaker, and every time he opens the door, they just hit play and then like hit pause immediately and like hide behind him. So
hide until he goes to the next room
in the atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got like an amp so like echoes, so like reverberates a little, but like into the distance. No one can start talking until the guitar like is like fully out, and then they may address Sebastian.
You see like the mariners or whatever, people in like the sailor outfits just like outside waiting for the echo to stop before continuing their conversation.
The national anthem, you have to be quiet for it.
Yeah.
Garlic. So Alex and Sam immediately are like, well, this is probably Sebastian because he looks pretty metal and he has a metal arm. So this is probably him. So Sebastian, and they obviously are correct. Sebastian walks in and he sits the guard down in a chair that they drop this like soundproof tube around the guard that like you can kind of see through. It's like almost hologrammy. And they hit play on the new CD that the scientist just brought in. And we watch the guard's face change from like, hey guys, what's going on? Why am I in a tube? To all of a sudden blank and like drooling a little bit.
Oh.
And when the tube comes back up, the guard is repeating the lyrics from the song, saying, he is Ricky, he's my master. I'll follow him as he creates disaster, or whatever it is. And Sebastian, again, anime style, tight zoom in on the face, just the face, hair on one side, smiles. Alex and Sam are like, well, fuck.
Oh, this doesn't seem good.
This seems bad. They are probably using music to record some subliminal or not so subliminal messaging on a different frequency on this music or on these CDs to control people's minds. They quickly put together that like, oh, the first song of Ricky's was about like idolizing rock stars, which is why probably Clover is obsessed with Ricky now and in love with him and idolizing him because the song told her to be. But the whispering is a little too loud because we first hear that Sebastian finds them because we hear the guitar riff come up, and then we see his boots come up to the table.
Like, oh no, he's coming. I hear the guitar. Yeah. It's like the whisper scatting with Chan's. And now it's the guitar riff with the Sebastian fellow. Yeah.
And then Sebastian uses his metal arm to rip the table up from the ground and reveal the girls, and he has yells for security. But luckily, there's multiple entrances into this building or in this room, as we saw, and the girls are fast, so they skedaddle right out of there. But sadly, this island, as we saw, is fucking full of security and eventually does catch them. You know, a little bit of a cat and mouse scene happens. They basically get caught because they get on a roof surrounded by helicopters with like weapons on them and are apprehended.
My goodness. So this dude actually like has the infrastructure to overthrow a government.
Yes. Which is the only reason I mentioned the helicopter thing, because the coup situation I think is correct.
Yeah.
So they are brought down to the recording studio where they're locked in as Phil and Sebastian again. Guitar riff, Sebastian arrives, strolls in, and we have our favorite, a villain monologue.
Ooh, yeah. So, tell me why you're doing the evil thing.
Yes. Well, Unfortunately, it's a forward-looking model. It's a villain plan expose.
Oh, okay.
I
Fair.
will say I did think about
plan
having
is.
wild speculation, but I knew this episode would be really long, so we can talk about it for like 2 seconds at the end. But I was like, oh, this is such a long episode.
It's cool.
By my own doing. Anyways, so it's a forward-looking monologue, we'll say.
Okay.
So he explains to Alex and Sam that they will be the first test subjects here as they become Ricky's slaves. Yes, he says the word slaves, which will make them totally chill at the concert tonight, where he will, using the giant satellite, jam every single radio station, internet wave, and TV signal in the world and play the new song, which will then turn the entire globe into his slaves. So he hits the play button and says, enjoy your last few moments of free will. Bye. And they leave. Luckily, the song does start playing. Luckily, the girls think quick. They see a guitar and a drum set in there, and they know that they can shatter glass with it because they shattered Jerry's glasses earlier. So they get down there, they shred. It shatters the glass of the recording studio, and they hop right out of there. Get their scuba suits on to leave this island and swim back to the mainland. I will say at first, I was like, you bitches are going to swim all the way back there? You're not going to make it in time for this concert. What's your plan? It's it's a 2-song concert. You're not going to make it.
You got 6 minutes.
Tops once they arrive. But they do steal some jet skis. It gets them there a lot faster.
Good.
They get to the Megadome concert hall.
Proof that thievery is sometimes okay.
Exactly. Proof that all of our surveillance states are unlawful in and of themselves. Anyways, I never know what you're talking about. So they again get to the Megadome concert hall. It's got the satellite just like out back directly behind it. And Sam and Alex immediately are on edge as they arrive because the crowd that's like there for the concerts, like already in the arena, is getting real rambunctious because the concert hasn't started yet. We see people jumping onto the stage and security having to like push them off. So these people are hungry for Ricky because they're so obsessed with him. And again, rabid creatures act violent. So they're growing in their violence there. And Sam and Alex find Ricky, who's like, why aren't you guys playing yet? Aren't you the openers? Again, sweet summer child, Ricky. They are like, Ricky, you fucking idiot, and explain what's going on. And again, this sweet, dumb boy is shocked by what the record company has been doing with him. He basically goes catatonic. He like slides on the ground and is like, what is happening? And
how is this possible?
Yeah, he's like, I just thought my lyrics from the heart were connecting with people. And they're like, Ricky, you are so dumb. So Alex stays back with Ricky, who is now obviously useless and catatonic, while Sam runs off to try and figure out how to take down this satellite somehow. But as soon as Sam leaves, the doors to like backstage get kicked open, and we see Clover decked out in her Ricky merch, the mob leader of rabid fans. And they start screaming when they see Ricky and running at him. So Alex grabs him and they also start running out as people now are storming the stage because they've spotted Ricky. So this is full riot is now happening for Ricky. So above the...
Oh, okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
Like, what's so special about Ricky? It's the subliminal messaging on the frequency.
Well, no, I was going to say, I mean, it sounds like they're going to kill him. Like, how much do you love him that you kill him? These crazy fans.
There's a lot of stalker cases. That's what happens.
Isn't that like John Lennon? Wasn't it a fan who killed him?
It was a fan who killed him. That was a whole thing.
That was a whole other thing.
Here's the thing.
Another combo.
Shout out to another podcast that I love to do. Obviously, shout out other podcasts. Last podcast on the left has a great Assassination of John Lennon series. That guy was crazy. Yes. But yes, that's basically the thing. Fans do go crazy, kill the people they're in love with. That's why they're scary. But especially these ones.
These ones,
So,
because they're also rabid.
It's a double whammy situation.
Yeah.
So above the mega dome is a helicopter that has Phil and Sebastian in it, who are like, the fuck isn't Ricky performing yet? Oh, wait, here's a mob of people, and not giving a shit about like, I wonder if Ricky's been murdered down there. They go ahead and say, fuck it, we can start the song. We can play the track from the helicopter.
Yeah.
The satellite is like set up and good to go. Let's hit play, like get this going right now. So Sam, who has used her bungee belt to get like on top of the satellite, that is also now being swarmed with fans. Like,
oh my God.
It is full riot. They don't even care about Ricky anymore. They're just looking to destroy. This is like a post Stanley Cup riot.
Oh my God.
In Toronto or something.
Yeah.
Or Boston.
Like Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly. They are just looking for violence right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Phil and Sebastian, though, see Sam. They're like, how did she escape? This ain't good. So they aim their guns at her. Like, they're just like, well, fuck it. I guess we'll just kill her this time.
Okay.
But very badass of Sam. Again, it's sweet anime style. She whips out the hairdryer tornado gun thing.
Yes.
And dives across like the satellite, like side of the satellite, takes aim, shoots at it, and sends the helicopter right into the signal of the satellite that had started playing the song. So now Sebastian and Phil are hearing the song and being brainwashed by their own song, which makes them become drooling zombies, which means they can no longer fly their fucking military helicopter.
Yeah, this doesn't sound good.
That they were in.
Everyone watch out on ground. Clear a landing.
Helicopter starts spinning out of control and straight up crashes into the satellite, which makes the satellite and the stage, the arena, explode into flames.
Sebastian is like, not again, although he's a zombie, so it doesn't matter, but he's like already afraid of fire, which makes it hilarious that he built this place on like a volcano too.
Yeah, exactly. He was trying to do exposure therapy, and he learned his lesson that you'll never learn. Yeah, I do think I think we had this in our Rescue Rangers episodes where like psychological trauma is like actually the most effective, because in the second he sees more flames on a stage that's on fire, he gets snapped out of being a zombie and is like, oh,
he like grabs his metal arm.
You know how like amputees will have like phantom limbs? He like has that moment. Yeah, I make fun of that obviously, but he's like, oh no. So I mean, like, this probably means that people/fans absolutely died.
100,000%.
Not
He's gonna rescue them. He doesn't have like, is there 911 on this island? Did he plan for this? No, everyone's a zombie anyway. No, they're dead.
Yeah, and like immediate flames. Like, even if there was 911, they're not. Yeah, like, people were. There's an explosion.
Yeah,
like someone was in.
It's not a rescue mission at that point. It's recovering dead bodies. Like, they need to start IDing people to get word to families. Like, hi, your teenage daughter was involved in a terrible explosion.
It's terrible.
Goes from rescue to recovery real quick.
Real quick. The spies are like, oh, sorry, we only do rescues of hostages. We don't do recoveries of bodies.
And it's hilarious because it's like the World Organization of Human Protection. Like, wow, good job protecting those humans. It's like no one had to die.
Sam's like,
anyway.
I didn't name the organization, just like I didn't name this dumb band. Blows the hairdryer gun.
Flies off, puts on scuba suit, dives away.
Deuces. But yeah, not only would fans have died from this explosion, but we confirm that this was full riot because we see Alex emerge with Ricky, which Alex had basically been protecting Ricky, and her cat suit is like
human protection.
Ripped. Yeah, human protection. There you go. They're just
literally human singular. One human.
The one we are paid to protect right now.
Exactly.
Not the collateral damage. which everyone else is. But yeah, Alex's cat suit is like ripped to shreds. And like these are like meant to be like super safe cat suits. That's why they wear them. They're spies. But yeah, it's like the arm is like ripped off. Some of like the torso is torn, the legs. So like full on riot violence mode. So again, if you weren't killed by the explosion, you're killed by your fellow man. So
yes.
It's real grim.
Sorry.
But luckily Sam also emerges unscathed. She was able to hop off right after she shot the hairdryer.
Nice.
Clover is able to come out okay too. Ricky is also fine, except for emotionally, because he's standing there crying. He's just standing there sobbing, and Clover's like, "Hi, Ricky," and he's like, just raw. Ricky will never be okay.
No, he won't. This is
basically,
he was a 2-hit wonder. He'll never make music again. These are the only 2 songs you'll ever know from this man.
He probably made a lot of money on the song, so he's probably going to go to like, a celebrity, like
somewhere else.
like exactly, like when they go on like, I'm suffering from exhaustion, so they go aka rehab, basically.
Yes,
like, he's going to go to like an exhaustion center for the rest of his days.
He'll be on like Dr. Drew in like 10 years recounting like the trauma of it all, and he'll have like 10 self-help books and everything.
Yep, with like that he co-wrote with one survivor.
Yes.
Of that night, who he eventually fell in love with.
We'll start a podcast about it.
Trauma.
To meet cute.
Yeah. Aww. Okay, so Ricky has a good ending here. Yeah, a meet cute as the survivors like faces melting off. He pulled them out at the very end there.
And that's when he learned he didn't care about looks or appearances at all. It was the bond of their trauma and the strength it took to get through it together.
And if we would have been able to hear his real lyrics that he wrote, we would have known that he doesn't care about appearances.
Yes.
Because he was writing from the heart, but instead they made him write from the evil villain standpoint.
Yes,
instead.
From the coup standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. And so Jerry and WOOHP agents do swarm on the scene. They do recover Phil and Sebastian, so I guess WOOHP does do selective recovery. Okay. They're fine. I think the helicopter saved them from the worst of the flames. So yeah, they get arrested, I guess. Again, Sebastian isn't okay for sure.
No.
In no way, shape. He's going to be joining that exhaustion retreat.
I mean, I hope he gets locked up, but
and I think they definitely are getting arrested.
He'll be in handcuffs while in retreat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, we've seen rich people don't go to the same jails. He's definitely going to a different jail.
That's true.
Or I don't know. You know what? I don't know the laws of Brazil. He could be going anywhere. He could be going somewhere way worse.
Maybe he'll be elected to their like state house. Who knows?
He'll be the next president of Brazil.
Yeah.
We don't
know.
So Sebastian might also have a happy ending here, like Ricky is. Phil, though, he's definitely going to jail. He's not rich enough to get out of that.
Yeah.
And then back at school, Clover is like so totally over musicians. Mm-hmm. Until she sees a new kid at school who's got some instruments and she's in love all over again. And that's it. Nice. That's the end.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. My
wow. Great job.
Yeah. Thank you. My like brief thought of like wild speculation that I was like, oh, I wish I could go into more. But again, this is a long episode. I think that Sebastian having this accident and no longer being able to like be a star anymore, like be a musician anymore, basically like drove him to madness and like wanted to at first just take it out on like the fans, basically by like making like the fans, like making them pay because they betrayed him by like leaving him in his time of need, but just got too power hungry and was like, let's working on music fans. Why not everyone? Why not just rule everyone
too? Yeah.
You know. So
also though, hilarious, like because the lyrics were specifically for Ricky Mathis to be the one. It's like he's not going to be a good ruler, you know, right? No. Like I guess Sebastian would still technically be the one, like the puppeteer of all of it. But like, could you imagine Ricky Mathis being the one like the fans following him to overthrow governments like he is the new like ex post facto dictator or whatever
of the world.
like, of the world. This man who's like crying, playing his guitar.
He's catatonic.
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, to be honest, really high risk plan from Sebastian, because I didn't actually think about that he made the lyrics Ricky, because at any point Ricky could have snapped and been like, you know what?
Yeah.
I love
Kill
being
Sebastian.
in charge.
Yeah.
I am going to be a dictator. Kill Sebastian.
Yeah.
Like, he could have turned on Sebastian. Sebastian was really banking on Ricky always listening to him.
Yeah.
But didn't matter.
In the end. Yeah. Thank
So,
God for the Totally Spies, or for the Spies, rather.
The Spies,
and for WOOHP,
the band.
who
yeah.
selectively were protecting Ricky and the two criminals. It's like, we're only going to really protect the main victim of all of this, and then the two criminals. Sorry about all of these teenagers who are clearly dead on the island of Brazoa, or on the land of Brazoa. Yeah.
Right, who parents will not be able to identify them. The body recovery is pointless, honestly, at this point.
They just have like multiple piles of ashes. Like, all right, parents, like, and they like put some jewelry that they found, like maybe around the ashes.
Like,
does this
teeth,
look familiar?
Some dental records. Teeth don't burn that quickly, I don't think.
No,
so
maybe some bones. Wow, that's dark. Thanks, Totally Spies.
And that's Totally Spies. Cut to, again, 10-year-old Grace looking at my two best friends being like, it's spy time. Yeah. So there you go. That's the first episode of our new arc. Thank you. Yes. We're very excited about this new show. We hope you all are too. And between now and next week, where Alexis will be telling us her first Totally Spies episode, Bird, who should our listeners and viewers tell about this show?
This week, I think it's clear you got to tell a music producer. Gotta hit one up, whether big or small. Go to your local, indie studios, or go ahead and tweet at someone, or maybe not tweet. IG, DM them on IG
all of it.
About this episode. Totally Spies made an episode just for them.
Nice. Who
should I tell?
I think after that, you should tell a guitarist. Tell anyone you know who likes playing the guitar. They'll appreciate all of maybe they'll get some ideas of like, I should have a guitar riff every time I walk into a room. That will make everyone hate them for sure.
Yeah. But hey, it's a way to make an entrance.
Exactly. Tell someone you know who plays a guitar about this show. This is a music episode.
Yeah.
So that's it. Until next week. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.